episode 3, the real beginning of my sleep football league. I just finished off screen the final round of the draft, and I added a couple free agents. Now, all I really have to do is start the actual process. Unfortunately, I don't have OBS set up at the time of recording. Maybe, I don't know if I will at any point. I guess if there is request for it to see the actual game I'm playing, I will. The main attraction, at least in my mind, should be the sounds of the paper, the pencils. There won't be any dice this go around, and the clacking of keys and whatnot. So I have the game pulled up. But first things first, it is time to retire this notebook. I did 6 seasons. Of this league. Here's week 12 of a random season, I suppose. I don't really know actually who won this one. I've done 6 seasons. Probably end up looking like this without all the water damage right there. This is the end of season 4. I am retiring this book for a new notebook I purchased just for this. So, in this episode, I will at least do week 1, possibly the first 3 weeks of the league. And, of course, I will, first I obviously have to set up the paper. So first thing I do is I write the week. And I separate it into 3 little grids. That's a bit off. I'm gonna redo those. Shouldn't have done that. Hard. That's more like it. Now, let me just try to not a fantastic start, I suppose, but it's what it is. So, first things first. I said that a lot. Next thing is I have to set up these standings. That is my cat scratching things in the background. standings are separated into 3 conferences and 6 divisions. So there is the Inner Core Conference, the Galilean Orbit Conference, and the Outer Core Conference. They are also separated into the Earth Division, Mars Division. In this conference we have the Jupiter Division and the Saturn Division. This conference, I believe, is the Uranus Division and the Neptune Division. So, hopefully that's not too confusing. And I'll show you how these seasons are set up as we go along. And then these early weeks before playoffs really go, I make up little headlines, mostly to remind myself when I look back on these, of the themes, I suppose. So, this year I'm doing a little tiny bit of a different structure for the. Did I do those too big? I did. Oh well. That's usually bumped up a little bit. Oh well. I separated the structure. It used to be that every the first 3 weeks and the last 3 weeks, and also the divisional matchups would play out about the same every time they'd face each other. Now I'm gonna do it a little bit based on the first, second, third, and fourth place in each division. So at the end of this series, first place will play second. Well, no, beginning of this division, this series, first place will play second place and end with fourth place. And in the last one, they'll go the opposite order. So for the Earth Division, Earth took first place in the division last year, and they will play Apollo, and then it will be Tycho and strategy football game. Select new game. And I will play Earth at home and Apollo away. Now, I'm probably going to get flack at this at some point, but in my brain it made sense when I had originally set this up years and years ago. Now, come to find that this should be the home team and this should be the away team. Sorry if this is confusing, but the left side is the home team on this and the right side is the away team. That made more sense to me at the time. Now I know that is incorrect, but I'm a little too far in at this point. I suppose I could change it at some point, but as of now, that's what it is. So all I do for these is I simulate them. All I do for these is that I simulate them, and Apollo gets the first one of the season. 16 to Earth's 10. Now I check the highlights. First quarter, just a pair of kicks by Apollo. Then Apollo goes up 13-0 with a long 80-yard drive touchdown. So 1 yard pass at the goal line, but the drive did 11 plays, 80 yards. In response, Earth responds right at the end of the second quarter with a 9-minute drive, 16 plays, 84 yards. Beginning of the third quarter, Earth makes it 10-13, and 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Apollo goes up 16-10, and Earth cannot get a drive going at the end of the game. The stats: Earth led pretty significantly in passing yards. QB Luke was 24 for 35, 246, no touchdowns, and had a 44 long pass, 88.5 rating. Struggled to get the run game going. 17 attempts, 38 yards for their lead back. And their the wide receiver Jagger had a pretty good day. 5 receptions for 74 yards, 34 long. Also, Williams had a pretty good day. 77 yards, 44 long. So no touchdowns out of that group. 1 touchdown by the running back. 19 for 30 by Apollo's QB Burks. 199 yards. 1 touchdown. 36 long. 93.61 rating. Again, struggle to get the run game going there. Running back Furman, 14 attempts, 43 yards. Did a bit better than Heisman. Just by a little bit. And as a group, Earth only got 1 sack. Apollo got 3. No turnovers by the group. Bit of a defensive slug match with no real big plays, so that goes in the book. With Apollo at 1-0 and Earth at 0-1. Okay. Now the next game. Tycho is at home facing Moscow. The this division last season is all of them finished above 500. Only Earth and Apollo made the playoffs. Both were one and done. So no playoff wins. These two teams barely missing by a game. So let's see the showdown. It is a much higher scoring affair. 37 to Tycho, 27 Moscow. I should know, Tycho has a new coaching staff, new head coach and all that. So this is their first game, pretty good first showing. Started off a Moscow kick in the opening drive. Tycho responds with a 80-yard drive, puts 6 on the board, misses the extra point, however. Moscow responds with a kick. Ooh. Zeke Godsell, running back, pulls off a 40-yard touchdown in the second quarter, 2:47 in the clock. 40-yard touchdown, that is a big time run. Massey in the following drive, only took about a minute 34, gets a 14-yard pass to Derek Decker. And with 54 seconds on the clock, they only take off, they only use 54 seconds. With a minute left on the clock, Tycho drives the field and goes up 20 to 13 with a touchdown. Sotzel again, a 13-yard run with 15 seconds on the board. That is impressive. They drive the field fast. I'm looking at the play-by-play. He gets sacked. I'm gonna go with the play-by-play of that 54-second drive. So they get the ball, 1:03 on the clock. Throws to Burnett, 10 yards. Another first down after that. First and 10 at their own 46, 11 yards out of bounds. Then Kitchens gets sacked for 10 yards, gets pushed out of bounds, still stops the clock. Apparently a offsides penalty, goes first and 5. Then an incomplete pass, second and 5. 8 yards to the Moscow 30. 2-yard gain. 15-yard pass, and then a 13-yard run. So no real big plays. Excuse me. No real big plays on the end of that drive. Coming at the gate, Tycho gets the ball. They immediately lose a fumble. They lose a fumble in the red zone. Gets taken back for a good chunk. And Moscow does tie it up at the end of the third quarter. After that fumble, nothing happens. A little bit for the rest of the third quarter. The fourth quarter, Tycho tries the field, goes up 7. Brandon Suke, 40-yard screen pass from Massey. It's not a screen pass, it's just an angle route. Takes it 40 yards for a touchdown. 19-yard kick by Tycho goes up 30 to 27. Then at the end of the game, Moscow is driving the field and gets stopped. Excuse me. Not at the end of the game. They're up by 27, and on the first drive back, they have about a minute to go tie it up or take the lead. They get stopped on 4th down within their own 20. Instead of kneeing it out, Tycho goes up. 37-27, just kind of runs up the scores. So that's a pretty good game, a lot more of an action-packed game than Apollo or stats. Massey had 346 passing yards. Kitchens had 319, 117 rating. Massey had a 107 rating. Both played pretty good games. Massey did throw 3 touchdowns to Kitchens 1, but the run game by Zach Gotzel, 21 attempts, 104 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns, hat trick, 40-yard long touchdown. He did fumble, unfortunately. But with a showing like that, can't be too upset. Wide receiver McCartney had 107 yards on 7 catches. Big day for him. And Jacob Gray had 7 receptions, 121 yards, 33 long. Big day for these offenses. Not a lot of sacks. 3 sacks on the board. 1 by Moscow, 2 by Tycho. And Tycho fumbled twice, but only lost it once, so 1 turnover, lots of scoring. Good game, very good game. Alright, next game is Nova Station versus Venus. Nova Station 2 seasons ago won the championship. Venus Station, the very first season I did this, they lost the championship and really haven't been the same since. They also fired their coaching staff. I'm hoping for better results. Let's see how this game goes. And it is a pretty convincing win by Nova Station, 28-17. Venus had a really hard time passing the ball, 195 yards on 30 attempts, 16 for 30, 70 rating, 1 touchdown and 1 pick, not very good. Nova Station, Martin Mutombo, 26 for 34, 154 rating, 71-yard long touchdown, and 400 yards. They didn't run the ball very well, only 53 yards. Venus ran it very well, 20 attempts for 101 yards, no touchdowns. Now the game flow. Opening drive, 5 minutes. March down the field in 9 plays. 14-yard pass from Mutombo. Venus answers right back. 4-minute drive, 8 plays. Sanders gets an 8-yard pass from Christopherson. And then, kind of setting the tone for the rest of the game, John Aaron gets a 71-yard reception from Mutombo. 1 play, they get the kickoff, get a decent return, just down the field. Second quarter, Venus drives the field and gets a field goal blocked. Nova Station takes that, drives right down the field, another 12-yard touchdown pass. Venus comes out of that and throws a interception. Kind of heaves it down the field, throws it around the 25, and they get stopped. Nova Station's about 40, and Nova Station. Isaac Meeks 11-yard pass from Mutombo. About 2:40 with a minute left. Venus couldn't do anything with it. Venus's second touchdown of the game opens the second half with a 90-yard kick return. They stop Nova Station's drive. However, Venus drives down the field again and gets a field goal block. Nova Station loses a fumble, just giving him another chance to get back in this game. All Venus can do is kick, and Nova Station falls out, kind of just keeps control of the game, but their defense keeps stopping Venus on on 4th down 3. One converted 4th down past their 50, and then stopped on 4th down twice under the 5-minute mark left in the game. So, bit of a dominant showing by Nova Station. Hard to say this early. They could be back to that championship form. However, when they made the championships, they got into the playoffs at 10-8. So, kind of hard to say if that was a fluke year or they just were unlucky in the regular season. So, next team, this will round out the Intercore Conference, is Mars taking on Cydonia. Both of these teams have really struggled to have any consistent success. They both made the playoffs, but as far as getting anything going, really haven't. Let's simulate the game, and I believe Mars is running it back with the same coaching staff last year. However, Cydonia has a new coaching staff, and their game does not go well. I mean, they put up a good fight, but it is a Mars victory. 27-23. Cydonia did draft a rookie quarterback, Giannis Lattimore. He was 18 for 37, under 50% completion percentage, 50 rating, 3 picks, 2 touchdowns, 206 yards passing, 45 long touchdowns, so there's some promise there, but he had a really, really rough first game. Couldn't get a rushing attack going, and no one on their receiving core broke 100 yards. On the flip side, Richardson, I think he's a third-year player at this point. Third-year quarterback, 28 for 45, 80 rating, 322 yards, 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. So they were a good handful of picks. Richardson also ran for 55 yards. Kind of put the team on his back, led the team in rushing. Had a 31-yard rushing touchdown, which is pretty impressive. And Patrick Blake, 9 receptions, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, 39 long. He heaved it deep. A couple times. 46-yard reception by McBride, 94 yards on him. Cydonia couldn't notch a sack. Mars got 2. And Mars also lost a fumble, so let's see the game flow. Okay. Cydonia starts off with an opening drive field goal. The next drive, Richardson throws an interception to Huntley. Cydonia takes the ball, puts up another field goal, and then that's when Richardson gets his 31-yard rushing touchdown. Let's see. Pocket kind of collapses on him. He rushes through the middle, and just no one can catch him. He's gone. 31-yard rushing touchdown. interception, getting the ball back to Mars. Mars kicks a field goal with it, gets a stop, and kicks another field goal, so they go into halftime. Mars 13, Cydonia 6. Mars' opening drive in the second half, they lose a fumble. Not great. And Cydonia takes that and ties the game. The 14-yard pass from Lattimore. They get a stop, and immediately he throws another interception, getting Mars the ball right back. They can't do anything with it. Cydonia gets the ball. 7 plays, 21 yards, and kick a field goal. 55-yard kick. Pretty booming kick. Patrick Blake gets a 27-yard pass from Richardson at the end of the third quarter, making it 20-16. The following drive, Cydonia throws another interception. Lattimore not helping out his team. However, Richardson follows that up with his interception of his own in the red zone. Touchback interception, not the best. Lattimore follows that up, puts the team on his back. At the 7-minute mark left, 7 minutes left, 45-yard line, he throws a bomb down the right side, and just no one's there. Touchdown. Breakdown in coverage, I guess. Big play by Lattimore. He's showing promise there. And then 10 seconds left. They have, I think there's a series of stops, because with under the 2-minute warning, Mars ends up with the ball, drives the field, and with 10 seconds left, throws a touchdown to take the lead. Pretty good game. Of a decent game. These two were decent. This one wasn't ever really that close. I guess this wasn't that great of a game, so great game. Not very close. And that one was basically a comeback. I'm gonna write comeback on there. So, Mars starts the season at 1-0. Cydonia starts the season at 0-1. Now we move on to the Galilean Conference. Europa was the runner-up. They lost the championship last year. They had been close a few years in a row. Just came short last year. Their defense held strong, but they had a punt block go for a touchdown and couldn't get a 2-point conversion late in the game. And Saturn just nailed it out after that. I think it ended 22-24 in Saturn's favor, but Europa hoping to get that championship win that they've been itching for. They played Jupiter. Jupiter won the very first season I did. Jupiter went 17-1, and hasn't really been the powerhouse that they kind of teased. Don't get me wrong, they've been really solid. I think they've only missed the playoffs maybe one time, maybe two, at least one though. But as far as playoff success, I haven't been able to, or regular season success for that matter, I haven't been able to live up to that initial season. So, let's simulate the game. Jupiter takes the very first game, 27-21. Let's do the game flow first. Starts with a good drive by Europa, going up 7-0. Actually, I don't know who got the ball first. Okay, Jupiter did get the ball first, but I think started out kind of slow. No one could get anything going. Then 9 plays, 69 yards, about 4 minutes off the clock. Europa gets the first touchdown, so Jupiter starts, but Europa gets the first touchdown. Jupiter kind of matches with a kick, kind of floundering a little bit. They get the ball back pretty quick. Put up another kick. It's 6-7. Europa with under the 2-minute warning in their own red zone lose a fumble. And Juan Antonio from Hopkins gets a 21-yard pass. They just take it. They just take it 2nd and 20. So they get a first down. Bolden Call pulls him back. But then they score nonetheless with 46 seconds left, and Europa can't do anything about it. However, they go into the halftime. Jupiter up 13-7. And Europa gets the ball out of the half. They take that and score very quickly. 2 minutes off the clock. They drive the field, and Scooter throws a 23-yard pass to Cassell. Really a beautiful ball, threads the needle down the middle of the field. Jupiter comes right back. 2 minutes. Throws a kick up on there to go 16-14. They get the stop, and Jupiter gets the ball back, and they get a touchdown and go for 2. So now they're up 24-14. 11 plays, 87 yards, 5:46 off the clock. With 17 minutes left in the game, so Europa is down 10. Jupiter gets the ball back again, stops Europa, and goes up 27-14 with about a minute left. Then kind of desperation mode. Scooter throws an 11-yard pass to Rodriguez again, and it ends 21-27. Jupiter taking the game. Pretty good game. A little bit of a back and forth. But just in that third quarter, Jupiter just put on the vice grips and dragged them to the deep, frankly. So next game, Ganymede and IO. Now, both of these teams have yet to make the playoffs. Ganymede is really looking for this to be that season. They think they have the roster, they think they have the coaching staff, so they're itching to do it. I, on the other hand, just wants to be above 500, frankly. If they can't do that, they will likely fire their coach. So, a little more hope on one side, but let's see how this game goes. Oh boy. So, I won't spoil anything yet. Game starts out, opening drive. IO goes up 3-0. Bit of a back and forth, bunt. Then Ganymede at the very, very tail end of the first quarter ties it up. IO goes right back, gets the ball back, and pulls up another field goal. Ganymede, 4 minutes left in the second half. 19-yard pass to Chavez, the rookie Chavez from Jamal. They go up 10-6. IO immediately, their quarterback, Buchanan, their quarterback immediately throws a pick. Probably second or third play. And Ganymede goes down the field and makes it 13-6. So far, not super exciting. But Ganymede gets it out of half, and they're up a touchdown. They go down the field opening half and kick a field goal, 16-6. And IO follows that 9-yard pass from Buchanan to Hutchins, 13-16. They get a stop from Ganymede, gets the stop on Ganymede. They get the ball back, but then they have to punt, and Ganymede gets a blocked punt on their side of the field. Io somehow gets the stop. I believe a missed kick. Yeah. Ganymede misses the field goal after the blocked punt. And this is about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Io goes down the field, scores a touchdown, goes up 20-16. Stops Ganymede on fourth down, deep in their own territory. And with seconds left on the clock, they get another kick, kind of running up the score. So 3-16. I don't know if I'd call that a comeback. I guess I will. They were down and they kind of came back in. They got back in it. Nothing crazy, no crazy stats to report. I guess the rookie Chavez had 119 yards and a touchdown on his debut. Just frankly wasn't enough. So really good showing by the rookie, but they really needed the rest of the team to come through. So that game is in the books. Let me write down the records real quick. 1-0. IO 1-0. Okay. Now the next division, we have the championship. The championship winners of last year versus Titan. They have had quite the back and forth last few years. Typically it's either Saturn or Titan to win a playoff game. They both got their first playoff wins last season. They made the playoffs, both of them, a couple times, and were one and done every time. They both got their first playoff wins. Titan in the wild card round, and Saturn goes up, beats last year's championship winner, the championship winner the year before, and then the first seed to take home the gold. So, pretty remarkable season for Saturn last year. Titan got a lick of playoff success and are hoping for a lot more this year. So, Titans kind of had Saturn's number when they play, frankly. But Saturn, usually by the end of the year, has a better record. So we'll see how this goes. And sure enough, Titan wins 20-13. So yeah, Saturn goes up, opening drive. Titan matches with a field goal. Saturn kicks field goal, goes on the half, 10-3. Titan gets the ball. Or do they? Oh no, Titan started the half and went 3 and out. Then Saturn got the ball in the beginning. So Saturn opened the second half, drives the field, but then has the field goal blocked. Titan responds the next drive and goes, hold on, I need to watch this block. Okay. So they drive the field. Titan, there was a 27-yard pass from Chad Redingert to Matthew Bang, and pulls up 10-10. Saturn response, pulls up 13-13. Titan 13-13. 2 minutes left on the clock. Titan goes up 20-13. And Saturn just can't get it going the rest of the game. Sacked on 4th down in their own 22. And that's the end of the game. Bit of a defensive match. Bang, their slot at 117 yards for a Titan. And no real offense to speak of from Saturn. So a bit of a rough start, maybe a little bit of a championship, hangover from Saturn. But that is how a lot of Saturn seasons have started, frankly. Coming out of the gate, facing a divisional rival at home. And they've lost a lot of games at the start of the season this way. Maybe not the same play out, but they lose them nonetheless. So, Mimis and Enceladus are next. This is Enceladus' coaching staff's last chance for any success, and it is Mimis' debut of a new coaching staff. Mimis tried to be pretty active in the offseason, but lost out on a lot of bid wars. Enceladus is really just trying to run it back with the same group for the most part. So let's simulate this. Oh man. So, the debut for Mimis doesn't start great. They start the game with the ball and cross the 50 and throw a pick. Luckily their defense holds up. They get the ball back and kick a field goal. Enceladus follows that by throwing an interception of their own. And Mimis capitalizes on that. Goes 34 yards. 9 plays to score. So they're up 10-0 by the first quarter. They get the ball back again after a stop. Get a kick 13-0. Unfortunately, they get the ball back again but lose a fumble. And with 1 minute left on the clock, Enceladus gets 3 to go into halftime. So 13 Mimis, 3 Enceladus by half. Enceladus starts the ball. Peterson throws, their quarterback, Blunt, throws a interception to start the half. And Mimis says, "Thank you very much for that." Goes 48 yards, it goes up 20-3. Then they do a surprise onside kick, recover it, drive the field 52 yards, and get another touchdown. They get the ball back again, but get tackled in the end zone. So they go into the fourth quarter up. Mimis up 27 to Enceladus' 5. Bit of a wonky score. Unfortunately, Blunt throws another pick after they get the ball back. Misses, "Thank you very much," goes up 34-5. Enceladus finally wakes up. 8 minutes left. Throws a touchdown. Misses the 2-point conversion. 11-34. Blunt throw. They get the ball back, but Blunt throws another interception. Mimis kicks, and with 1 minute left, Enceladus throws their last touchdown of 31-yard pass, and they lose 37-18. That is a statement by the new Mimis coaching staff. That is an impressive showcase. That is probably the worst beatdown so far. Last 4 games to go. We'll start with the winners of 2 years. 2 years ago, this team won the championship, and I believe. Oh, by the way, if you missed it, the most notable stat of last game was Gary Blunt, the quarterback for Zealous, threw 4 interceptions. Probably one of the worst performances of his career. Anyway. Okay. Sioux Station won the championship 2 years ago. And Tether Station lost the championship 5 years ago. They both had really solid seasons this year. Sioux Station taking the 2nd seed. But and Tether Station also won a playoff game last year. So they both won one playoff game and then were out at the next game. So this should be an interesting matchup. 2 really solid teams who made some noise. Let's see how it goes. Really good game here. Sioux Station starts the game. Actually, who starts with the ball? Sioux Station starts with the ball. First half doesn't do much of it. They go back and forth. End of the first quarter. Sioux Station kicks a field goal, so a bit of a lull. Tether Station follows that up with a really solid 75-yard drive and goes up 7-3. Sioux Station follows 25-yard pass from Jeffrey Smith to Chris Jeffries, 10-7. Sioux gets the ball back, gets a stop, has to punt, and it is blocked by Tether Station. Tether Station takes that, kicks another field goal, ties it up 10-10. With 3 minutes left on the clock, Sioux Station drives the field 72 yards, takes 2 minutes off the clock, and scores, going up 17-10 with 1 minute left in the second half. With that 1 minute, Tether Station drives the field and is able to get a field goal. Kind of sputters out when Tether Station gets the ball in the second half. Doesn't do much with it. Sioux Station gets the ball after the punt, but then throws a pick. Tether Station takes that and says thank you very much, and goes 14 yards for a touchdown. 3 plays, 14 yards, touchdown, just real easy drive. They get the ball back, stop Sioux Station, they get the ball back at the top of the 4th quarter and go up 23-17. Sioux Station, after that, goes 68 yards in 9 plays, takes 5 minutes on the clock and goes up 24-23. Tether Station, 2 minutes left, responds with a field goal. Sioux Station responds with a field goal of their own, 37 seconds left, and with time running out, 0 zeros left on the clock, Tether Station kicks a 43-yarder game-winning field goal. Really good game by these 2 teams. Stats. Good rushing games by both these teams. Tether Station had 25 attempts. 31 attempts total, 122 yards, most of that being carried by Grew at 25 attempts, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. The QB had 58 yards for Sioux Station, and Sean Pimian, their 22 attempts, 46 yards, no touchdowns between the two. Not as good of rushing days as I guess I initially thought. Sioux Station Smith, 293, 23 completions, 3 touchdowns a pick. Sean Gray, 21 for 31, 283 yards, no touchdowns. Pretty solid days by these two teams. I'll be excited to see them play at the end of the season. Alright. Now Callisto, who not having a really fantastic franchise. They made the playoffs for the first time 2 years ago and somehow made it to the championship and lost to Nova Station. They play a new coaching staff team in Uranus. Uranus is not a very good team. They're probably statistically, they've never made the playoffs, are in probably the bottom 4 or 5 every year. They've tried their best to revamp their roster this year. No one would really want to go with them, but I think they've drafted all right, and they picked up some solid free agents. So let's see how they fare against Callisto. Oh boy. So I won't even sugarcoat this one. This is the first blowout of the day. Blowouts are fairly uncommon in this game, unless the stats are that in favor, but yeah, this is Bob Burger, 22-yard touchdown pass, 21-yard touchdown pass. Uranus gets a kick. Burger throws an interception, but Uranus loses a fumble in the Callisto side of the field. Callisto gets the ball out of the half. Another touchdown drive. They get the ball again. Kind of goes back and forth. Top of the fourth quarter, another touchdown. Uranus throws an interception. Callisto kicks a field goal. And yeah, it's just stopped on fourth down. Uranus. It was never even close. That is an incredible performance. I frankly don't know if it was Uranus 90 for a million, 30 for 55. They just almost refused to run. No touchdowns, a pick, 57 rating. 20 Callisto 22 of 33, 314 yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 104 rating. Couldn't really get a lot going running. They ran about twice as much and had about as many yards. So Callisto's not a great running team, but they were able to run it up in the pass game. Bats, the outside receiver, had 91 yards and a touchdown. Probably the biggest day. Actually, Tyree Tanahan, 12 receptions, 95 yards for Uranus, but yeah, just a team effort from Callisto, really just dominating them from start of the game to end of the game. Wow, that is actually pretty surprising. Now, this game is interesting. At the very end of last season, Triton played Pluto. Pluto was at home, and Triton wins the game with a buzzer beater field goal. There's a win in game, so they kicked Pluto out. And Triton got in at 9-9. Kinda messed around in the playoffs and beat Earth, the most winningest team in the playoffs, making the semifinal and then losing to Europa. So This is an interesting game, bit of a revenge match. I bet Pluto wants their leg back. Okay, bit of a defensive showing. I believe Pluto starts the ball, can't do much with it. Triton gets it, kicks a field goal. They get the ball back, kick another field goal. Second quarter, Pluto goes up with a touchdown from Marion to Jefferson. So it's 7-6. Triton ends the second half going up 9-7. So a lot of field goals. Triton doesn't do much out of the second, coming out of the second half, but they do get the ball back. Are the first to score in the third quarter, going 12-7. They get the ball back again, but he throws an interception. Pluto takes that interception and goes up 15-12 with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They go up again. They get the ball back, go up 18-12. So they're up by 6. Triton with 1:48 left on the clock scores a touchdown, goes 69 yards, 4 minutes, goes up a touchdown, leaving 1:45 left for Pluto to work with. Pluto converts a 4th down on their own 40, and unfortunately plays after they lose a fumble. Has a man wide right, gets a big gain, actually, really big gain, 31-yard completion. It would have set him up with a field goal, but they lose the fumble somehow and lose the game. Kind of a crazy finish. Triton wins through basically sheer luck, and Pluto, seemingly the better team, kind of exploded offensively. Was the only team to really consistently get touchdowns. They unfortunately come away with a loss. Pluto loses to Triton. Now, the last game of the night. Neptune and Caron. Caron, 2 years ago, I believe, won a playoff game. Comes back and they go 5-13. Neptune barely doing better. So Caron's giving another chance this year. I believe the ownership believes in them. Neptune, for some reasons, also getting another chance this year, even though their coaching staff has not shown much. I was gonna guess, I'm gonna think Caron's gonna win. Damn. Alright, so game starts off. Caron gets a 101-yard kick return touchdown. Neptune follows that with a field goal. Ball goes back and forth. Caron gets another touchdown. I should add that Caron's quarterback was the quarterback for Cydonia last year. Hit free agency, didn't want to play with them anymore, and goes to Caron. Alright. Neptune, the only thing that happens in the second quarter is Neptune throws a pick. Nothing really happens. Going to halftime 14-3. Opens the third quarter, Neptune gets the ball. They go down the field and go up, make it 10-14. Caron answers with a field goal. Long drive and a field goal. Neptune throws an interception. So they're going into the fourth quarter, 17-10. Neptune gets a field goal with 10 minutes left in the game. They just can't get the ball back, goes back and forth, back and forth. In the 2-minute warning, Neptune gets the ball. They get a 4th down conversion, a 4th and 10 conversion, and bring it to the Caron's 20. And then they get a touchdown with 30 seconds left, making it 20-17. So kind of blowing that game by not being able to score in the fourth quarter at all. They needed a single field goal and just couldn't do it. So that will be it. For this first week, my headlines I'm going to write is Flash's and coaching debut. I'm going to check a stat real quick. Okay, this next headline will be Sat loses third opening game in a row. To Titan. Let's see. Pluto can't catch a break, fumbles game-winning play. Sidonia rookie QB. Flashes despite loss. Actually, no, he didn't. Three picks in his debut. I'd say the game of the week. That was definitely the game of the week to me. Bit of quite a big back and forth. And the last. I'm gonna go. Bestows sustained early success. So that's it. Thank you for joining me. I hope asleep. And if you're not, I hope you enjoyed. I suppose if I'm going to do them like this, it's going to have to be 1 week at a time, because this took a lot longer than it normally does when I'm just doing it by myself, since I was explaining every game. But nonetheless,